Iran believed they had forced Trump to back down, and that was the idea Tehran kept spreading for weeks. Then the events at KHARG Island happened, and that whole story collapsed in front of everyone. To understand where things are going and why the next 72 hours could be the most important part of this conflict so far, you have to look at how this started. Back in June, President Trump had a massive attack planned and ready to go. He even posted online that the American military would strike Iran hard on a Thursday night, right after completing a series of air raids the day before. But just hours later, he stopped the attack, saying he was giving talks with Tehran another chance. Oil prices went down right away, and leaders in Tehran celebrated. They thought holding their ground, threatening the Strait of Hormuz, and keeping talks going had made the American president hesitate. Iranian state media claimed they had called his bluff and won. That turned out to be a total mistake. To see why, we need to look back at how this war began on February 28th, when joint American and Israeli strikes hit Iran in a massive first wave. Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, was killed in those opening attacks, and his son Mojtaba took power. For a government built on the idea that its top religious leadership could never be touched, losing its leader on day one was a shock they never expected. Ever since, the conflict has followed a repeating pattern. Iran launches missiles and drones at American bases, and ships, the US and its allies, block most of them, and then the US responds with even bigger attacks. Running through this whole war is one small landmass, KHARG Island. It is only 5 miles long and sits 20 miles off Iran's coast, but it handles nearly 90% of all the crude oil Iran sells to other countries. Almost every dollar the government uses to fund its military, its missile development, and its allied groups across the region comes through the oil docks on that single island. On March 13th, American forces hit the island hard. Trump announced that military bombers had carried out one of the largest airstrikes in the region's history, destroying over 90 separate military positions on KHARG Island in a single night. But the most important detail was what the US did not hit. American forces completely avoided the oil tanks and loading docks next to those military bases. The goal was not to crush Iran's economy that night, but to send a clear message. The US was showing that it could see every inch of Iran's most valuable asset, and had wiped out all its defenses, while choosing to leave the money-making parts intact. That was not a sign of weakness. It was a demonstration that America held complete control and could change its mind whenever it wanted. Carrying out an attack like that requires advanced equipment. Wiping out 90 targets in one night while carefully avoiding nearby fuel tanks takes precision weapons, real-time tracking data, electronic radar jamming, and mid-air refueling planes so jets can stay in the sky. News reports showed that the US was moving extra fighter jets and refueling planes into the region long before later attacks, proving that this larger plan had been in the works for a long time. However, Iran's leaders drew the wrong lesson from the March strike. Instead of treating it as a final warning, they assumed the worst had already passed, and that the war would continue as a slow back and forth until a deal was made. Meanwhile, Trump was publicly suggesting much bigger actions. In an interview late that month, when asked if the US might actually capture KHARG Island, he said the option was on the table. Through the spring, he repeatedly warned that the US could destroy Iran's power grids, oil wells, and KHARG Island if shipping lanes in the Strait of Hormuz were not reopened. By June, his warnings grew stronger, suggesting the US might take full control of KHARG Island and handle Iran's oil exports directly, comparing it to previous actions in Venezuela. Military experts explained what taking the island would actually take. It would require Navy ships and jets to secure the air and sea, followed by Marines landing on the island by helicopter to force any remaining defenders to surrender. While taking the island would be easy for American forces, holding it would be much harder. KHARG Island is close enough to the Iranian mainland to be targeted by enemy artillery, drones, and missiles. Putting troops on the ground inside Iranian territory would be a massive psychological blow to the regime, which is why the idea remains a major option, but has not been carried out yet. Iran spent months believing Trump was bluffing, especially after he paused the June strike. But in July, after a short ceasefire broke down, US airstrikes began again. On July 7th, explosions rocked KHARG Island once more, along with strikes on Qeshm Island and coastal targets near Bandar Abbas, as part of a massive sweep against dozens of locations. This proved that KHARG Island was far from safe, and that the US was combining military attacks with tight economic sanctions on Iranian oil exports. The pace of attacks has only increased since then. US forces have carried out strikes night after night. On July 17th, an Iranian missile and drone attack hit a military base in Jordan, killing 3 American service members. Defense officials honored the fallen soldiers, while the Secretary of State explained that a single missile had managed to slip through air defenses. These were the first American combat deaths from Iranian fire in months, and they changed the situation instantly. Within hours, American forces launched an 8th straight night of strikes, explicitly targeting Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps locations in direct retaliation. Current intelligence reports reveal that the US had already begun moving extra jets and equipment to the Middle East before the Jordan attack occurred. Official reports also indicate that current strikes are designed to clear out Iranian defenses to prepare for potential larger actions. These complex operations could include sending ground troops to KHARG Island or striking a heavily fortified underground nuclear facility known as Pickaxe Mountain. Trump has stated publicly that Pickaxe Mountain could be targeted soon. Iranian officials responded with heavy threats, warning that hitting the underground site would lead to a much wider war and that they could strike back against American targets. As these threats grow, the human cost continues to rise. 17 American service members have died in this conflict, and military honors have taken place for the fallen. At the same time, Congress has held discussions regarding the ongoing cost and authority of the war effort. Across the wider region, including actions involving Lebanon, Israel, Iraq, and nearby waters, the total death toll has reached into the thousands. This conflict is also tied to other critical areas across the region. Off the coast of Yemen, Houthi forces and naval blockades affect the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, another vital trade route. Experts note that if strikes damage Iran's electrical grid, it could trigger further attacks along that sea lane as well. At the same time, diplomatic efforts continue over troop movements and border security in southern Lebanon. Every part of this regional tension is connected, with KHARG Island standing at the center of the economic fight and Pickaxe Mountain at the center of the military conflict. Everything keeps coming back to KHARG Island because it is the main economic source for the regime. While military bases can be rebuilt, losing 90% of national oil income cannot be easily fixed. Iran's mainland coast is too shallow for giant oil tanker ships, which is why KHARG Island was built with deep water docks back in the late 1950s. Smaller ports cannot handle anywhere near the same amount of oil shipments, making KHARG Island irreplaceable. This is why the belief that Iran had broken Trump's resolve was completely wrong. The June pause was just a brief stop during talks, and once those talks failed, pressure returned even harder. Naval blockades expanded, and global oil prices rose sharply. On top of that, an important legal rule under Section 122 of the Trade Act of 1974, which placed a 10% tax on imports related to this crisis, reaches its strict deadline on July 24th after 150 days. This creates a tight legal timeline alongside rising military actions and explicit threats against key locations. Taking KHARG Island remains a major operation. American forces would first need to secure complete control of the air and sea before sending in troops to give a final warning to any remaining defenders. While American air power makes taking the island fast, holding it against artillery and drone fire from the mainland nearby would require a long-term military presence. Leaving the oil terminals unharmed during earlier strikes was a clear demonstration of control. It showed that Washington holds the power to destroy those facilities whenever it chooses. Iran had a chance to use that pause to negotiate, but instead they treated American patience as hesitation. Now, as strikes continue to hit defenses, power grids, and military infrastructure, that original assumption has proven completely false. Where this goes next is still uncertain, but there are clear signs to watch in the coming days. These include whether strikes expand to main power grids, how Congress responds to the war's timeline, whether attacks spread deeper into internal cities, and how the trade deadline on July 24th is handled by decision makers. In the end, Iran has repeatedly miscalculated the situation at every step, from the opening strikes to the temporary pause in June. Now, with legal deadlines, economic pressure, and military threats all coming together at once, time is running out. KHARG Island remains the central point that will determine whether this war slows down or turns into a much larger conflict, and the next few days will likely show which path comes next. This is Defense Archives. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next one.